Welcome back to This Week in High School Sports. We're hanging out in Mountlake Terrace today at our show sponsor, Red Onion Burgers, and with us the owner, Sean Richards. Sean, people think of Red Onion Burgers and they think obviously burgers, it's in the name, shakes, fries, other things, but you're so much more than that.
We are. We offer barbecue ribs, our world famous red Cobb salad.
Ooh.
With turkey and ham.
Healthy options, I like it.
Healthy options, and we also offer paninis, fresh fruit, and smoothies, and so much more. So come on by.
21005 44th Avenue, Mountlake Terrace.
Welcome to This Week in High School Sports. I'm Teresa Whipple here with Steve Willits, and we are into winter sports now.
Yeah, our fall seasons have concluded, at least locally anyway, and the winter teams are already starting practice. Seasons haven't begun yet, but they're getting very close.
That's right, and you brought in a special guest, so tell me more.
Yeah, Nalin Sood, the head basketball coach for Mountlake Terrace High School. We've got a huge event coming up on Tuesday. We'll let Nalin talk a little more about that. Jam Session 24 coming up this week, and here's Nalin Sood to talk about it. High school basketball season quickly approaching. Tryouts are completed. Practices have already begun. And with us right now, the head coach for Mountlake Terrace, Nalin Sood. Nalin, we're going to talk about your team and the season in just a moment. But first, you've got a big event coming up on Tuesday night over at Mountlake Terrace High School. Jam Session 24. That's the 24th anniversary of this particular event. A fun event. Tell us a little bit about what Jam Session is and how it came about.
Well, 24, wow.
It's been a while, right?
We've had that many of them. And, I can recall our first year of it and the history of it and how it started just on a Friday night or something like that. I had the night free, so I went to the University of Washington. And I went down because they had a Midnight Madness there. But I don't think it started right at midnight. But it was pretty late, and I went down there and watched it. And just to throw a name out there, I remember Todd McCullough as the starting center for the UW, and that was a long time ago. And I really enjoyed it. It was a great event, and a lot of colleges do that around the country. And then I came back, and I was sharing the experience with Vince DeMero. And Vince made the comment, well, coincidentally, he was in Pullman watching Wazoos. And so we started talking about it, and I got to give Vince the credit on that one. He said we should start something like that at Mountlake Terrace High School. And I thought, yeah, that'd be great. How can we do it? Well, Vince, how the way he thinks and thinks out of the box and how we could do it. And here we are 24 years later with something unique, something special, and something different that our kids have just reveled around. It's been great for our student body. It's been great for the Hawkeye, for them to do something to bring exposure to their program and fundraising. And then for our boys basketball program, it's been outstanding. Then we got the girls involved, and 3 years ago we added the layer of the alumni coming back. And not to take anything away from our boys and girls programs, but the alumni game is pretty special and pretty neat because the ghosts of the past that come back, the great players, and seeing who they are now, it's just another piece of an outstanding night.
So we should point out Vince DeMero also still involved with the school. He runs the media program over at Mountlake Terrace. So the fact that 23 years ago the two of you came up with this idea and you're both still there, it just makes it that much sweeter. And Vince still very, very active in putting that event together. Midnight Madness, for those who don't know, it's kind of in the college basketball world, a chance for teams to showcase themselves for the first time to the public, really, before the season starts. So it's essentially what this program is, right? It's a chance for Mountlake Terrace fans and alumni and alumnus and other folks to show up and not only see the boys and girls basketball teams as they have scrimmages against each other, but it also gives them a chance, like you mentioned, to watch an alumni game. But there's other activities going on too, right? It's kind of a fun event. It's not as though you're going to a structured basketball game.
No.
Music elements, entertainment, other things, right?
Yeah, I'd say, it's promoted by the Hawkeye, but you could almost say Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus puts it on because it's a carnival type atmosphere, and it's a fun event. Sometimes with games, it's just the game, the pressure of the game, the excitement of the game, and that's it. Mm-hmm. But the cheerleaders get to perform, and they're introduced and recognized for their time. This year, the wrestling team, and we've done the wrestling team in the past, they get recognized. They put in so much time. But then contests, competition, skits for the little kids. So it adds the dimension of the community involvement. Mm-hmm. And then for the parents of the student athletes to get to see them come and put on the uniform for the first time. Sure, for the varsity kids, there's the jitters of it, but it's not a do or die situation. It's not the pressure environment that maybe the games are. I try to make it the pressure environment for our kids because we want them to play well.
Sure.
But it's just a fun, neat night from the 14-year-old kids in the high school and the young kids in the community all the way to the 40-year-olds from 1989 that come back and play in the games.
Indeed. A lot of folks involved with it that are alumni, myself included. So
Yes.
I'm happy to be involved with it again this year.
Yes.
And we should mention too, not only am I going to be participating as your MC, but the DJ that's going to be there, DJ Tilt, also an alum, and so you have music playing the entire time this event's going on.
And that's why I say if someone is just walking by the gym and not having any idea what's going on and they stick their head in, it'll pull you in, it'll draw you in because, that night in Mountlake Terrace, that's the place to be. And so many people contributing a part of it to make it what it is. And like you said, if it wasn't working after 5 or 6 years, we'd be done with it. But for 24 years, this has been one of the shining events for Mountlake Terrace High School.
And you've also made it into a fundraising element, collecting food over the years for the local food banks and whatnot. And that's going to be happening again too.
Yep, canned food. I think it's for adults $5, ASB card $3 for students. But if you bring in any canned food, it discounts it for you also.
Very nice. So that event starts at 5 p.m. this Tuesday night.
Yes.
November 21st. So it's a slow week for most people. It's Thanksgiving week. So even if you're going to be working the next day, it might be a half day for you. So come on in. And the event usually runs until around 8 or 9 o'clock, correct?
It does. It gets the alumni game will go off around 8 o'clock. It's in around 9. And I'm not sure if our EEA, the Edmonds Education Association, used it in their bargaining, but we do get the day off as teachers. So
Oh, very
staying
nice.
out a little bit later on the Tuesday night for the late game, it's a little bit easier knowing you don't have to get up the next morning.
We should point out too, Mountlake Terrace with a very, and you've been a very big part of this, storied tradition on the basketball court. A lot of great players over the years, state tournament appearances, placing at state for that matter. You really do have a strong list of alums who have gone through that program, who have gone on to do big things both collegiately and also playing overseas. Are we going to see some of those big names on Tuesday night?
We'll see some of them. I know one of them that's taken 3 of them away, Seamus Boxley, will not be able to play, and that means Mike and Dan also because he's getting married.
Okay.
I can't believe he scheduled his wedding the week of jam session, but we're still going to get some of the significant names back. The Sells brothers, in fact, Ryan Sells that still works there. I know we're going to talk about him in a little while. Tyler Strassner, who played for us. But we're going to go back to Orm Albertsons. It was one of our great from the
Class of
early
91,
90s. Johnny Phillips, our assistant coach, he comes back and plays, and he'll play as well as anybody there. Jesse Zerum, a point guard from our team that got 4th in state in 2013, he'll be there. So we got a couple that are still playing right now that can't make it because of their commitments to their college programs right now. And they're putting their college programs ahead of Mountlake Terrace High School, so I guess I have to live with that. But Greg Bowman, Blake Fernandez would love to be there, but they're at Western and Wazoo or
Washington,
UW right
yeah.
now, so obviously they can't make it. So, but we'll still have 20, 25 players playing from the past, and they're the ghosts of the past.
A name you just mentioned, Tyler Strassner. He is not only going to be playing in the alumni game, it sounds like, he also has a new role this year. He just became the girls basketball coach at the school. Has to be kind of a proud moment for you. You were his head coach when he played varsity at Mountlake Terrace a few years back. What is it like now when you look across the gym and when the girls are practicing, you see one of your
Sure.
one of the kids that you knew from way back when?
Well, you hit it right on the head. Just really proud, and it's a unique thing to be coaching next to one of your former players, but now he's a colleague of mine and working together to build up the basketball programs at Mountlake Terrace High School. But I saw a little bit of that when he was a player. He was very cerebral. His temperament's just outstanding. And anytime you bring in a new coach, there's going to be a culture change of the program. And Tyler started off with 4 or 5 girls showing up for open gym and conditioning, and he coached those 4 or 5 girls to the best of his ability. And then the next thing you know, it turned into 8, 9, and I think he has 30 girls in the program right now
Wow,
between
okay.
3 teams. And that doesn't surprise me because that's a lot of that's Tyler's personality, giving credit to the girls that also they enjoy playing basketball. So it's just really rewarding as a coach to see one of your former players go on, one of our former players go on and get into coaching. But I think we have 13 or 14 of them right now that are in basketball and coaching, and so that's says something about, I think, what our program does, but also what all our coaches do, not the assistants, but the co-coaches. And the kids are excited to go coach and probably do a better job than we ever did.
Very good. And we're talking about a girls program that at times has had trouble fielding 2 teams. So the fact that there's enough for 3, outstanding start to his
Absolutely.
career there at Mountlake Terrace. Your own team, the boys team, a
Yeah.
team that went to state last year. You played in the Yakima Sun Dome. How are we looking right now as a squad, and what are you seeing through the first week of practice?
Well, it's coach speak right now, but we're a work in progress, and we've been at it for 6 days. We had tryouts for 3 days, and then made our team, and it's the culmination right now of all the hard work the kids put in the off season, and so now they got to a certain level, and we're going to see what we can do once we put things together as a team and build to see where we can be at the beginning of March. But kids that love basketball. My biggest challenge sometimes is getting them out of the gym, but they've been the core of the seniors have been together since they're in 5th or 6th grade. If you look back at the pictures, you're thinking that's the same guy, but I know they're really motivated. They want to take it one step further. They had a really good year last year as underclassmen. A lot of it due to Joey Gardner, Sean Kirk, and Brock Davis, who were seniors at the time and have graduated. But one step further would be to get to the Sun Dome and see if we can win a game or two and do a little bit better. But that's so far down the road. Right now, we're just worried about each day in practice and working hard in practice. We got a real solid JV team and a great group of freshmen that came in. So we kept 14 on our freshman team. So we like the numbers. We like the kids' commitment. It's been the first week's just been great. The only problem is the time goes by too fast. And you look up at the clock and there's 2.5 hours that's just gone. Well, like I tell the kids, that means you're doing something you really enjoy doing. So it's been a neat group to work with. I can't single any of the seniors out because they're all committed and working hard and having great attitudes. So it's been positive for us.
Yeah, looking on your schedule, first game of the year, Tuesday, November 28th. You're at Lake Washington. First home game the very next night, Wednesday the 29th, against Kamiak. Carson Tuttle, the Everett Herald Player of the Year through the entire area last year throughout Snohomish County. He's back again. You're not exactly getting off to an easy start over at the Terrace, are you?
You know, I'm having a hard enough time sleeping, worrying about practice plans and this and that, and you had to throw his name in the mix right now. So
I seem to remember he hit a pretty big three at the buzzer last year to put that game in.
it was a pretty deep three.
From about
I'm not
35
sure,
feet
I'm
away,
not sure if Russell Wilson could throw it as far as he shot it, but we're again this year, our motto is we'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime. Some people schedule for RPI. We schedule to go play the best, and with Lake Washington and Kamiak, we're getting 2 really good teams, 3A and 4A, to start off the season, and the kids wanted that, so it'll be a big challenge for us starting off the year, but we're looking forward to it just like we did last year. And Carson's a great player. He'll be a great guard for our kids to go against and use as a barometer of how good they need to get.
One of the big events that takes place at Mountlake Terrace High School every year is the holiday tournament that you've put on for the last few years.
Yeah.
You always get big name teams in there from all over the state and out of state for that matter too at times.
Yeah.
I see the date here. It's December 28th, December 29th. Do we know who's going to be participating yet this year?
Well, one thing that's unique about our tournament is we don't make it just for the varsity. It's for JV and C teams also. So we have 24 teams coming to Mountlake Terrace High School over those 2 days, and we put on the Mountlake Terrace High School tournament with the Edmonds School District for, I can't keep track, but probably about 24, 25 years also. But we're getting Sunnyside, which is a 4A team from Yakima. They're coming in. We're getting some local teams like Edmonds-Woodway and us. Ballard's coming in from the Metro League. Auburn Mountain View, they've got a good program. They're coming in. So, and then Nathan Hale, I know they're rebuilding a little bit, but another
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But some of those kids saw how to win last year at the JV level, or some varsity kids that'll come back. So I'm sure they're going to be fine. So it's going to be a great tournament. We're looking forward to it. And during the holidays, when people's schedules open up, they can just drive to Mountlake Terrace High School to watch 8 really good high school basketball varsity programs playing.
Pretty much from the beginning of the morning all the way through the later part of the night.
Exactly. We start with freshman games at 9 o'clock, and the last varsity game goes at 7:30.
And finally, noticed you received a pretty nice award earlier this week. Tell me a little bit about being inducted into the WIPCA Hall of Fame. First of all, WIPCA stands for?
The Washington Interscholastic Basketball Coaches Association.
So it's basically the Washington Basketball Coaches
Right.
Association, and you just became a Hall of Fame member. Congratulations on
Well,
that. What
thank
does
you.
that mean to you?
Well, I'm glad we got to talk about all those other things because they're way more important. But, Steve, it's really humbling, and I'm just honored beyond belief. But for me to sit up here and not give credit and acknowledgement to a lot of other people that have made our program what it is, starts with the great players. We've had outstanding players, as you talked about, that they've taken our program to really amazing heights. Our co-coaches and our support staff at Mountlake Terrace High School is phenomenal, and then the administration's been very supportive. But we have another Hall of Fame coach at Mountlake Terrace High School, that's Roger Otmar. and I took over for him, and I'd have been a fool to change the blueprint. And his blueprint worked for him, and I've just sort of followed that, tweaked it in our own unique way. But he went in the Hall of Fame, and I just followed his blueprint. So it's as much a credit probably to people like him and our players and our coaches, and that honor really is a credit to a lot of them. And like I said, I'm just humbled, and I see the list of the coaches that have gone in the past. I'm not sure if my name belongs with theirs, but we have something unique at Mountlake Terrace High School, and I'm honored to receive that award and on behalf of Mountlake Terrace High School.
So newly anointed member of the Hall of Fame. Basketball season's here. Jam session coming up on Tuesday. It's good to be Nalin Sood right now.
It is really good to be Nalin Sood right now, and I'm a lucky guy.
Very nice. So again, Coach Nalin Sood from Mountlake Terrace. Jam session once again Tuesday night, November 21st, over at Mountlake Terrace High School. Starts at 5 p.m. and then after that, we get ready to roll into the basketball season. Coach Sood, thank you as always for coming
Thanks,
in.
Steve. I appreciate it.
Best of luck to you and the Hawks this year.
Thank you.
You know, Nalin Sood is one of my favorite basketball coaches. I always enjoy watching him coach and just the way that he interacts with his players, and really a nice man.
Very animated at times too.
Very
And I
animated,
can say
yeah.
that because I played for Nalin Sood once
That's
upon
right,
a time.
you did.
Animated, but also a great guy. Just all around doing wonderful things for the community, for his athletic teams. He's the president of WIPCA, the association he talked about in the interview. And again, Jam Session 24, a lot of fun. You don't necessarily have to be a Mountlake Terrace High School. You don't have to be affiliated with them in any way, shape, or form. Live music, entertainment, contests. You need to come out to that event if you don't have anything going on Tuesday night. I'm a little bit biased. I will be emceeing the event, but it is a great time. And like I said, they do some things for a wonderful cause as well, trying to help out with the food banks and everything else.
Yeah, and the high school journalism program too, which of course is I have a soft spot in my heart
As
for.
do I.
So go Hawkeye! All right, well now, even though we said we're on to winter sports, we're going to go back to fall for a moment, aren't we?
We are. One team in particular that had a very successful fall, and we haven't given them their due yet, so we wanted to bring them in. We talked about the girls cross-country team over at Edmonds-Woodway a couple weeks ago. Boys, not too shabby either. They took fourth as a team at the state invitational. Top 3 runners over there, all of which finished in the top 30 individually, all came into studio, so we had a conversation with them. Here are your top 3 runners for the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors boys cross-country team. The Edmonds-Woodway boys cross-country team, getting back from state a couple weeks ago, on November 4th, they finished 4th in the state finals. And with us right now, the 3 top finishers for the Warriors. We've got Deyago Peraza in the middle, Dylan Hartono on the end here, and then Lucas Lacambra, all juniors, I might add. Gentlemen, first of all, congratulations on finishing 4th place as a team at state.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well done. I think we'll start off with you, Deyago, 21st. Great finish. What were your expectations going into Pasco, and how did you feel about that finish?
Going into it, I knew I wanted to get around top 20 or top 25. That was my goal. I didn't really coming in as my first year. I didn't really know the competition or just even the course, but I'm really pleased with that.
Now, Lucas, for you, you've been on that course before.
Yeah.
Now, you had a great season. We should mention a few of your accomplishments. You won the Northwest District Championship. You won the Edmonds School District Championship. You PR'd at the Hole in the Wall Invitational this year. I'm guessing that maybe 27th place isn't exactly where you wanted to finish.
No, it's
but
not what I
how do you
hoped,
feel about it?
But the other teammates ran great. I ran decent, and I kept up through I kind of died after the first mile, but I managed to keep through the second and third. And although it wasn't the greatest performance, I still have next year.
Very nice. And I noticed you and Dylan were running neck and neck there. Dylan, I think the two of you finished about 0.2 of a second away from each other, 26th and 27th place.
That's right.
Was that planned? I mean, you guys all 3 finished within 8 seconds of each other. Was there a strategy going into the race with you guys, or did it just kind of work out that way?
I didn't really think there was a strategy for us on the state meet. I think all of us were trying to just work hard and get some PRs and score well for the team.
Deyago, what about you? Do you have strategies when you go into a race like that? Is it just a matter of, are you picking out different runners that you think you're comparable to and trying to stay with them, or do you just kind of run your own race?
Yeah, I definitely go in athletic.net before races, and I check out the teams and their top runners and just try to match my PR up with their PRs and just try to focus on those guys that I know I can hang on with. And I just always try to stay closer to the topper pack. So.
Lucas, tell me a little bit about being over there in Pasco, because it wasn't just the three of you.
Yeah.
We've already talked to the girls. We know how great Yuki and Stephanie and Olivia did and the rest of them, but you guys are a stacked team. I think your top 7 runners all finished in the top 82 overall.
Yeah.
What is it like being a part of this team and a young team at that? There's not a single senior in this bunch.
Yeah, well, like they were saying, we don't really have team strategies, but we end up together a lot of the time because we're so packed together. I think our spread was 21 seconds or something, which is great. And although we don't have any outliers, we're all pretty much exactly the same speed, which is great to run with each other. And yeah, top 11 are returning, which is wonderful. We had some great newcomers. We had a freshman who's the 3rd freshman in the state, Josiah Ponton. And then we brought Jacob Wilcox over from tennis, and he's had a phenomenal season.
Jacob finished in 42nd at state. Name a few of the other guys, too, for us that are on that team.
Grant Christian finished 5th, and then Colby Pavla PR'd by 30 seconds, which was an outstanding race, and finished 6th on the team.
When you have 11 guys like that, I know a lot of other schools, and some of these guys who finished 6th or 7th for the Edmonds-Woodway team would have been first at their school.
Oh, yeah.
When you have this strong of a group, I mean, what is it like to train with these guys? For you, Dylan, what's it like having this many runners all kind of, I wouldn't say necessarily equal, but all kind of running in that same pack and being able to compete with one another? I've got to think it makes you guys stronger.
Yeah, for sure it does, but usually in the beginning it's kind of tough because a lot of kids are trying to make it onto the varsity team, and for example, Jun Masunaga, a senior this year, he was like one spot away from being at state with the team, but because our team is so good, it's hard for some individuals that could have been really good by themselves enter into the state meet for the team. But for sure, with all the 11 guys together, we definitely have made strides that we couldn't have done if we were doing it by ourselves.
Deyago, we tend to think of cross country as being an individual sport, but it really is a team sport. Is it kind of hard at times to, what's the competitive nature like amongst each other? Do you almost want to beat one another more than you want to help one another? Or what is the mentality when you have that many good runners together, all on the same team?
I would definitely say that it's in the back of my mind, just trying to be as fast as I can, but we try not to be competitive with each other. I mean, we joke around about like who's gonna finish first or not, but it's really a team effort, and we're just really striving to just be the best we can be.
Yeah, I think it's great having people to race against on your team and wanting to beat them so badly because it helps you run much faster.
What is the camaraderie like with this group, though? I mean, is this a group that hangs out together? Is it a group
Oh,
that
yeah.
on the bus rides and to go into different invitational? What is it like?
Oh yeah, we've become a lot closer over the 3 years that we've known each other, and we're great friends as well as runners. So it's fun hanging out with them.
So a big year for you guys. We just mentioned Pasco and the state championships and whatnot, but so many other races during the course of the year. Lucas, we already mentioned you winning a couple championships. Do you have a favorite moment outside of Pasco, and what was it?
Yeah, I loved Hole in the Wall, which was a fast course. I PR'd on that course. There were just so many people to stay with and run with, and so many great runners that it was kind of fun to be immersed in the race.
Definitely. And Deyago, what about you? What was your favorite event this year outside of the state championships?
I would say Hole in the Wall, and also one of my favorite courses is also South Woodby. We did that for I want to say districts, and we also did
an invite.
Yeah, an invitational earlier in the year, and it was just nice to just see. I mean, I think I ran like nearly the same exact time for each time, but
Diego and I were side by side for the entire race.
That was for South Woodby?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Until the last 400 meters or so, and it was great having him right next to me to run.
She mentioned Hole in the Wall up at Lakewood High School in Arlington, one of the largest invitational runs really in the state all throughout the course of the year.
Oh, yeah.
And Dylan, for you, did you have a favorite moment this year?
I did. I think I had Twilight. Twilight this year was my favorite race.
In Marysville.
That's right.
And that's a night race, is that correct? Is that?
It's around twilight, so around 6 or 7 o'clock, so it wasn't too dark yet.
Okay. And just the course, the atmosphere, what was it that you liked so much about
I
Twilight?
would say I kind of like Twilight this year. For sure the course is fast, it's a lot of downhill, but I think it was because that was the race I was most prepared for instead of state. I've had some trouble with sleeping enough before races and preparing beforehand, and I didn't really take that into consideration until then.
We had a chance to talk to some of the girls that came into the studio a couple weeks ago after their big event, Yuki, Stephanie, and Olivia. And they mentioned that there's it seems like there's a good balance and a good camaraderie between the boys and the girls too. Is it competitive at times? I know with those three, I mean, all three of them finishing in the top 5 in state. Lucas, what's it like? Do they push you guys to want to be that much better, seeing their
we
successes?
want to be so much better.
Yeah.
And their top 3 is amazing, and it's great competing with them. They got second in state this year, which is something we had strived for, but we didn't get. And so it's kind of a hope and a dream of ours to get that next year.
Well, we should talk about that too, because you finished 4th as a team. You've already mentioned it, Lucas. Your top 11 are all returning next year.
Yeah.
Do you start to kind of do the math and try to figure out which teams are going to be strong and which ones you can maybe compete with and what you need to do?
Since we're returning so many people this year, it's great to have everybody run within the off season and kind of prepare. We have a year, and so we've got plans to improve and hopefully get first at state next year.
Diego, does that make you want to push that much harder, knowing that this is a team event now?
Yeah, I definitely want to just do the best I can and just try to just build up and edify our team together, and just even great, like in going back to like kind of how we our team's just really unified in the way, like even when we work out, like do workouts and stuff like tempo race, like runs and stuff, like it's like we'll like take turns leading like in the pack, so it's like it's not all relying on like one person, so it's like we're all fast enough to be able to push each other, and so it's really nice.
How important is coaching in cross country? I know you have Al Bonney, your coach, who's been just a legendary high school coach. What has he meant to this program, and what has he meant to each of you individually? Dylan, what is it like to run for Coach Bonney?
I would say Coach Bonney has been such a great help for helping with coaching, and he has such good insight after all 49 years of his coaching with Olympians, college level athletes, and once he brings it down to the high school level, it really helps us think of this like the technical aspect and how we're supposed to try and improve our way, not just trying to go as fast as possible at the race and systematically finding a way to run faster.
How about you, Lucas? What has Coach Bonney meant to you?
He's great. We've become better friends over the last 3 years, and he knows just so much about running. So we're very grateful to have him on the team.
And Diego, do you have a favorite thing about Coach Bonney, or maybe one or two things that he's maybe helped you with the most?
I would say he's just always been great encouragement to me through my journey. He's just been right away, like even joining the team in track season, it was just evident that he was just really wanted each of us to get better, and he was just willing to do what he needs to do to help us achieve our goals.
Very nice. Hey, as we start to head towards the off season, do you let yourselves take a little bit of a break now? I know that track is still a few months away. It's the winter season right now. Do you take a couple weeks off and then get back to it, or are you already going at it strong?
We
Lucas?
took a 1 week break after state, but now we're slowly and gradually creeping back into running more mileage, and we've got plans until March, which is when track starts. So hopefully we'll build up and get a strong base, and then we'll start track and racing, which will be fun.
Dylan, is it hard to keep into a regiment when you know that it's getting this cold and this rainy season out right now, or is it? Do you just have to kind of push yourself that much harder to get out there?
I didn't really think about when it's like too dark or too rainy, especially with the team aspect and how when we're running as a team, you don't usually think about the rain as much as you usually do by yourself.
And with track season coming up, similar distance to the 3,200. Diego, do you train differently for track than you do for cross country?
I would say yes. We definitely do a lot more speed workouts and in track season, just a lot more action on the track for training. So yeah, it's a bit different, but I'm just glad to just be able to run. It's fun.
And you all three are juniors. I know, Lucas, one of the questions that I tend to ask a lot of the seniors, and wasn't going to ask you until you and I were talking before we started rolling with the camera, colleges. You mentioned to me that your junior year is almost more important than your senior year from a running standpoint. Why is that?
That's right. It's because most runners commit their senior year early, so they don't have time to run fast track times their senior year, and they're usually committed by the time track starts. So junior track is one of the most important seasons to perform well.
So is that something the colleges are already talking to you guys about, or do you expect to hear more from them come
Yeah,
springtime?
we're hearing a little bit from them, but we expect to hear a gradual increase in talk.
Anybody know where they're going yet, or is it still a little too early?
It's a little too early.
You got a little
Yeah,
time
really.
still, right? But we'll hopefully maybe know a little more come spring. Hey, again, congratulations to all three of you. And we do want to do one more thing before we sign off. For your efforts, Lucas, and for winning both the Northwest District Championship and the Edmonds School District Championship, we've given you a Action Jackson Plumbing Player of the Week shirt. So I want you to
Thank
go
you,
ahead and
Steve.
enjoy that. Thank you for
appreciate
everything. Great season to you. Great season to all three of you, really. Fourth place finish this year as a team. We're hoping that you guys maybe can get 3 spots up higher than that next year, guys.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll be watching all 3 of them in the spring on the track. We'll also be excited to see what they can do cross-country season come 2018. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would imagine the cross-country runners can eat pretty much whatever they want on Thanksgiving.
That's the beauty of it, right?
Yep.
You know, they say that Thanksgiving Day is probably the one day of the year in which we have more turnouts for fun runs and 5Ks and other things. And as a matter of fact, it sounds like at least one of those guys, Lucas, and maybe his teammates, might be running a half marathon on Thanksgiving Day. So
Oh my gosh.
I think they'll have plenty of room and reason to eat turkey or whatever the heck else they want to eat that day. So they're gonna earn it. Let's put it that way.
Very good. And we hope that you all have a great Thanksgiving. And we will be back to talk about what's coming up because there's a lot of sports that are going to be kicking off soon.
Yeah, we've got basketball, wrestling, boys swimming. Who knows? Bowling is going on also.
Yeah.
There won't be a shortage of things to talk about this winter, that's for sure.
No, it'll be fun. We hope you'll join us. Have a great week, everybody.
Gobble, gobble.